All right, good evening. Kim Baker here with the VSC Ministry / Faith Family Forgiveness. And I'll be explaining that just a little bit more here in just a little bit. But tonight we're back in. This will be the second week of anger. Okay, and we'll be. Let me get back to. Okay, so we're going to start out tonight talking about what is the right belief of anger. Okay. And then I do have some announcements that we'll be making at the end of this tonight. But here's the issue is that there is a lot of people, there's a lot of misconceptions and about how we should feel or believe about anger. And also the right belief. There, some misconceptions about that. So I went too far on that. Sorry about this. Okay. Oh, first and foremost, the first right belief that we need to understand is anger's validity. Okay, that it's real. Okay, it is anger is considered uh, probably the most intense emotion that we could experience in our life. Okay. Uh, and what we need to understand is first and foremost, it's a valid majority of the time. It's a valid reason to have this emotion. Okay, is because a lot of times there are things that happen to us. Okay, and the next thing is this is it's a natural emotion. Okay, that it's a God given emotion. Okay, now and here's the thing about anger. Okay, is that it's a signal. Okay, what's its signal? If anger is a signal, what's it signaling? Okay, well, it is signaling. Man, I'll get it out. Sorry about that. That something needs attention. Okay, that there's something going on. There's an issue that's taking place. Okay, so we need to give it due attention. Okay, and that next is it probably means that there needs to be a change happen. Okay, so let's say that you get put in a situation where you start feeling angry. Okay, so there's the signal. You know? So it's signaling that there's an issue and that something needs to change. If if something doesn't, if we don't do something about it, what's going to happen? The majority of the time, that anger is going to escalate. Okay, so that means what? we need to change it. Okay? So we need to be able to look at anger this way that that when we start feeling the emotion of anger building up, swelling up inside of us, it ought to be a signal to us that we need to make a change. Okay. All right. Number two is that the next thing is to reflect on what triggered that anger. Okay? So how do we reflect? Well, first is we have to understand our anger. Okay? And to understand it, we have to what? We have to look at, reflect, and see why that anger is starting to rise in us. Okay? So reflect. Okay? Is it a situation that's causing that it is the trigger? Okay? So we need to reflect on the situation to see if that's the trigger or not. And then the next part of reflecting on our triggers is looking at our emotional response. What is our response? How do we normally respond to these triggers? Okay. Number three is to practice self-compassion. Okay. Well, again, what are we referring to? We're talking about being kind to ourselves. Okay. Getting angry does not mean does not necessarily mean that we are a bad person. Okay. Because we have to understand this is that everybody experiences anger in their life. Okay. Now, can we become a bad person or a sinful, I won't say bad, but I'll say sinful person? Yes, we can. By the way that we handle the anger. Okay. What do we do? How do we react? How do we treat people when we get angry? Okay. Because the Bible tells us that it tells us that in our anger, in your anger, do not sin. Okay? We talked about that last week. That God understands. God understands there's going to be things that is going to make us angry. Okay? So it depends on how we handle the situation. Okay? Uh, all right. So number four is having a healthy expression. Okay. Yeah. Now eating our fruits and vegetables does not help us in that way. Okay. Yeah, they do help in other ways. But we have to be able to try to find healthy ways of expressing our anger, not only to ourselves but to others, and especially to others. Okay, how we communicate. You know, do we communicate our feelings calmly and assertively, or are we communicating our feelings about the angering situation uh, aggressively or even passive aggressive? Are we being passive aggressive? Okay, because being aggressive and being passive aggressive are either one is just as bad, because one side of it, you are probably running over people. The other side, the passive aggressive, is probably not confronting or not communicating it. It probably you could be using the silent treatment uh, to try to control the situation. Okay, so are you being calm and are you being assertive? Okay, that should be our goal. Our goal should be to address the angering situations calmly and assertively. Okay. Number 5, we need to explore the root cause. What is really causing the anger? Okay. Sometimes it can be guilt. Okay. And here's the thing about guilt. It's really not the guilt that's the issue. It's the deeper reasons for that guilt. Where does that guilt actually come from? Okay. Because guilt in itself is usually not a main issue. Okay. It's usually certain situations or certain people that causes that guilt. Okay. So we need to explore the underlying beliefs. What do we believe is causing that guilt in our life? What's causing that anger? Okay? But and I know there's a lot of people that feel like, you know, I really don't want to look back on my life. I don't want to look on the bad things that's happened in my life. But how are we going to understand if we don't reflect, if we don't look back on past experiences? Because past experiences uh, shape us tremendously. Okay? It shapes the way that we react, the way that we talk to people, the way that we think about people. Okay? All right, number 6, learn anger management techniques. Okay, so there are some techniques that you can implement to help alleviate the the anger inside of you. Okay, now there's some people that do believe that, well, if I look into anger management, if I go to anger management, uh, that's showing that I'm weak. that I'm not very strong. No, it just means that you want to learn from your past. You want to uh, progress and be better, be able to handle situations better, to be able to relate to people better. That's what that's what it's about. Okay, so here's some of the techniques that that we can do. Deep breathing. You know, breathe in real deep. Exhale. Next is to be mindful. Okay, what's going on around us? Okay, to be mindful. And again, the third one is seek professional. Okay, there, there's nothing wrong with that. That you know, even going to a counselor, there's nothing wrong with going to a counselor if you really need it. Okay. Then number seven is forgive yourself. Okay. Um, it has never failed in the past. Whenever I've been doing forgiveness classes, that there will always be one person, at least one person in there, if not more than one, that will make this statement right here. Okay. Well, I don't have a problem forgiving. Doesn't bother. I can forgive. I don't have an issue forgiving, except for myself. I can't forgive myself. Okay. Well, how can we deal with this? Well, first and foremost is to understand that it's okay. It's okay to feel angry. Okay. Jesus got angry. God got angry. We're going to get angry over things. Okay? But it does. But it comes back. It comes back to the fact of what we do with it. Okay. So forgive, forgive, forgive yourself. Okay. Forgive yourself for feeling this emotion. Okay. And I know what I'm fixing to say right now may kind of seem like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth about forgiving ourselves for having the emotion, but also embrace it. And to me, that just means that okay, yeah, I got angry. I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. I am going to embrace it. And, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to use this to be better next time than what I am right now. And that's what it, that, that's all that we should really expect of ourselves is that because that's what God expects of us. He just expects us to be better tomorrow than what we are today. Okay? And don't beat yourself up over the fact that you had that initial feeling of being angry.